Hello, ladies, gentlemen, it's Morpho Creatures from Alpha Centauri. Today we're gonna try to watch the NASA New Horizons flyby live, the flyby of Ultima Thule, or Thule, or whatever you call it, MU69. Let's hope we can actually. All that government shutdown thingy makes it all a bit strange and uncertain, but we'll have to look. Let's go to the live view. Broadcast should start in about 3 minutes in theory. I've also the Twitter channels open. It's not actually the flyby that was already done, but this is the first time the New Horizons probe should call back, and it's got, I think, a 15-minute window to do that in its programmed sequence. Test. Yeah, okay, that works actually. I was very close to setting that up in time. Okay, yes, the thing here is, it's got a 15-minute callback similar to the flyby of, let me tip that down a bit if I can. Yes, yeah, that's shimmering and stuff. Nothing I can do about it during the live stream. But yeah, we should be able to watch it live if everything works. Basically, the probe, if this is, let's say, the probe, it has the antenna mounted basically on the same side as the rest of the instruments. So while it's checking out the Kuiper belt object, it can't actually communicate with Earth because it's pointing in the wrong direction. So it has to turn away from Ultima Thule and send data to Earth, and we won't get any pictures. We get the status of the spacecraft if everything works, and what we the two call outs we really wanted to hear is that the SR pointers are at the right place. That means that from the solid state recorder, basically an SSD, that it has recorded the amount of data they expect to. And the other call out we want to hear is that the automation software reports that no rules have fired. Basically, it's highly automated, and because of the speed of light thingamajig, it can't actually call back to Earth when anything goes wrong during recording of the data. So it has all kinds of safety rules that try to fix the immediate problem. No rules have fired means that the automation software didn't have to fix any problems. So that's what we want to hear. And I'm not sure we are actually on the right channel, because that's also with the government shutdown. It's all a bit bad and not so easy, but in theory NASA TV should carry the live stream. We'll have to look into that, but in theory it should have started already, so that makes me a bit nervous. That, of course, hopefully we did get the time right, because all those time zone conversion thingamajigs. Come on. Let's reload this in case we, yeah. Now it says here 12:15 Eastern Standard Time. Let me check. 12:15 EST in Central European Time. Now, did the times change somehow? Close at, we need 10:15. That AM PM stuff is so outdated. Okay, we might have half an hour left. Not sure. The thing here is, basically it's the probe is just stopping the science thing for 15 minutes or so, turns towards Earth and sends engineering data. It's not gonna send science data. I don't think. It's just sending its engineering frames, and it does that in a loop with all the different readings. It's grouped in packets with, I think, 1 bit per second. So it takes some time to go over all the sensor readings and stuff in one loop. So it's taking a few minutes, and at the time NASA locks up, it does take a bit of jiggling to get the antenna pointed in the exact correct position and lock onto the frequency, and then synchronize up to the data stream, because the probe is just sending and sending and sending, and you have to basically get the start of packet marker, and then you don't exactly know in which order the packets are coming in. Or where in that loop you lock on. So the order of callouts isn't really fixed. It's when a packet comes in, which could take 60 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever, then the group responsible for that gets a decoded view of that packet and calls out their status, and then the next group and the next group and the next group. So we'll have to see. Do we get any more updates on either of those? Um, yeah, we already here. There was a nice statement from Alan Stern regarding stuff around the government shutdown. Basically, it's he said that due to the shutdown, now the officials can't give an official press release. The people from Johns Hopkins, with Alan Stern as the lead scientist, the principal investigator, they can, but NASA officials can't. They can come in and, sit as a member of the general public in the room, but they can't give out official statements, which is just, only in the United States, really. Let me... New Horizons, Alan Stern. Yeah, it was this very unscripted.
We are ready to sign in an official capacity. They can come as U.S. back out of Duly, and it starts now. So I'm here to answer your questions.
That was the press conference.
All right, Jeff first.
Hi, Jeff Outspaces. Is the government shutdown affecting you in any way? Are there like team members who can't be present or anything else like that?
The NASA executives at NASA headquarters that would normally be here can't be here in an official capacity. They can come as U.S. private citizens, but they can't be a part of press conferences or make formal statements or be a part of the public program the next couple days. Other than that, we're essentially not affected. Well, NASA Public Affairs, of course, is shut down, so they're not writing press releases. But NASA Social is up, and NASA TV is going to be carrying our feeds. Right?
Yep, and we're doing press releases and all the other news, the operation here.
Right, but because APL and Southwest Research and all the university professors, et cetera, are not government employees, we are fortunately not affected in a serious way. We do have a few NASA scientists who are on the science team because this is a critical operation. They received special permission, just like the flight controllers for the ISS, as an example, to be at this and to support the flyby. Anybody else? Chris?
I'm really struck by how relaxed and happy your team seems,
Okay.
especially compared to...
Okay, yeah, that was the official position on because of the government shutdown. But yeah, so this is gonna take like 15 more minutes or 20 more minutes. Well, I have to watch Twitter and see if anything else comes out. But so far, this looks or this we haven't got any tweets about problems or anything like that, so it doesn't look that bad. I think this is going to work, but we'll have to see. We didn't get any. That's all artwork. That's not a real photo. I think basically that is the best image we currently have of Ultima Thule. That should change in the next days or so. One thing they said, we might get an image like 6 by 6 pixels. That doesn't sound very much, but given the fact that the best image we currently have of this object is I think like 2 by 2 pixels or something, that's a very big step up in resolution already, and that might, if I understand correctly, might get sent included in the engineering data. I'm not sure if this is going to work. In the next few days, I think they said tomorrow or the day after, we should get an image of this Kuiper Belt object of about 100 by 100 pixels or something like that. I think they have software on board New Horizons that can basically auto crop the image, so they take a larger image and then tell it, like in GIMP or in Photoshop, to just leave out the black part, the background part, and only send the compressed version of the actual image of Ultima Thule, I think. But it's still gonna be thumbnail size. But it should give us a good first glance at the Kuiper Belt object. Currently, we don't have more than a very, very, very rough idea of how it might look like if it's like a single orb or two connected objects, like a contact binary similar to what's it called, Churyumov-Gerasimenko. But well, what the hell? Okay, that's Google's automatic voice recognition, or maybe someone is typing that, I'm not sure. But yeah, that should be a live view from the ISS. Maybe it's live, maybe it's not. That's always hard to tell with the government shutdown in progress. Yeah. We have to wait, basically. We got a new tweet. Okay. That's the same page. Okay. Whatever. Yeah. Now we have to wait. We don't even know if this is going to work. There's always the option of something going wrong, especially since we never done anything like that before. We never flew by a Kuiper Belt object. We just don't know what to expect, and we never had a probe that far out doing a flyby. We had the Voyager probes out that far, and they are now much farther away, but they don't do imaging anymore. They just take plasma readings like the solar wind thing and send them live. Doing a complete flyby mission, and I think the probe, the closest encounter is only half an hour. So basically, from the point where the camera gets close enough to take images, to flying by and getting far away enough to lose the capabilities of doing detailed imaging. It's like 25-30 minutes, so we only have one shot at this, and it just has to work flawlessly. This space probe has obviously done it before, but we don't know yet. The closest flyby was a few hours ago, but even as it gets farther and farther and farther away from the object, it still can do all kinds of science measurements, and while it does that, obviously it can't communicate to Earth because the sensors all point in the same direction as the antenna, and if you're pointing at a specific object, you're obviously not pointing to Earth. So and that's why there's a 15-minute break scheduled in the observations. When it gets far enough away that we don't lose any science doing that, because of 15 minutes not observing Ultima Thule is obviously 15 minutes of lost science. So we'll have to see if everything worked. Yeah, we still got a little over 10 minutes. And I'll be right back. So Okay, here we are again. Yeah, the worst music imaginable. But yeah, so I'll have to wait. Okay, just a reminder again, the two callouts I really want to hear is that the automation system had detected no problem, so that the callout would probably be no rules have fired. So there was no problem where any of the like emergency systems had to spring into action. So it, at least on the Pluto flyby, it was the callout was no rules have fired, which is their standard callout. And the second callout we want to hear is that the SSR pointers are where they're supposed to be. That's basically you have a chunk of flash memory, the solid state recorders, and they record one observation after the other. So it also gets compressed into memory to fit more observations. So if they're pointing in the wrong direction and they just photograph black space, or they don't do any observation because something went wrong, then they record less data on the data at all, and basically the pointer is just where the next piece of data would be recorded. So if you fill up the space with good data, then the pointers would be near the end of the flash memory. If you don't have any data, there would be at the front, and that's one of the downlinked telemetry points, and they know how much data they recorded basically, and we hope it's all they wanted to do. They have a good idea how much data they are planning to record, because they know which observations are scheduled, and a photo takes that much space, and some radio science that takes that much space, and you can estimate how much you are recording, and if the then they can be pretty sure that the spacecraft didn't just record empty space, but they actually pointed the cameras in the right way, and they took all the other readings from an actual object, and not just being 90 degrees off and just photographing nothing. But we'll have to see. Yeah, and basically the third callout that's gonna be interesting, which plays into the first two, is the number of thruster counts. Basically they know, okay, they're pointing here, and then here, and then here, and wherever, and that takes that amount of short bursts from the thrusters from basically the small rockets that point the spacecraft in the right direction. They know roughly how many thruster pulses they need to accomplish the whole mission. and by that they can very early tell if they actually did it correctly, because that's all. They as I said, they don't download science data yet. It's just a brief window to get some basic engineering data down. It's 15 minutes or so, and they have a very, very low data rate. It's like, I think, a bit per second. So in a minute you can get only down so many bytes. We can actually calculate that. That would be 60 bits per second. I used my num block again. I have to still remap that. 60 bits per second by 8 bits in a byte, so they can download 7 bytes per minute or something. We can also look at if it works today. It's not always doing. Okay, they're gonna downlink via Madrid the 70 meters antenna. It's currently going into setup, so it's starting to slew in the right direction. That thing is 70 meters across. So yeah, and we got some caching problem as always. Yeah, whatever. I probably have a no cache thing here, but then everything else goes to hell. So but yeah, they're downlinking via Madrid in Spain with the 70 meter antenna. It's here. So that one is basically seeing or will see New Horizons. Current round trip light time, that means if you basically send a ping up there and the spacecraft immediately responds with a return packet, it takes 12.27 hours. So over 12 hours just to send a signal up and then send it down again. So the New Horizons has done its thing about 6 hours ago, and we're just now going to receive the what it said 6 hours ago. So yeah, boggles your mind that light is too slow even within our own solar system. Interestingly, we also get at the same time one of the downlinks, nearly daily downlinks from Voyager. It's 159 bits per second. That's actually quite a fast data rate if you look into it, because the round trip time is 1.6 days. So it's basically nearly 2 days or 1.5 days. So basically, if Voyager sends down a signal, it takes like 16, 20 hours to get to Earth. So that's the live stream should have started already. Or not. Maybe the YouTube thing is right. We are going live. We have sound. It's now 10:20, so we do and I think that one is the direct feed which is reused by NASA, because NASA doesn't have a lot of personnel, only a few very key personnel because of the government shutdown. So yeah, let me move my actually that one here and that one here, and then I can move myself down. Okay. Yeah, we should get there momentarily. Let's see if NASA TV themselves have no. They show exactly the same thing as that. But more clearly. Yeah, NASA TV. No. Only. Okay. This is our resolution somewhat different. Strange. Yeah. The official NASA live stream has a better picture, so we're gonna watch that. Any second now. Right.
2006, the New Horizons spacecraft sped from Earth toward the outer frontiers of the solar system. 13 years and 4 billion miles later, it has completed the first ever flyby of a small Kuiper Belt object. No other mission has explored a world so far away, or one that hadn't even been discovered when it was launched. Happy New Year. We're live from the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory in Laurel, Maryland, home of NASA's New Horizons mission. Now, the spacecraft was out of contact about 10 hours ago when it flew by Ultima Thule, and this morning, we await the call home to let us know that all is well. Now, last night was about celebration. Hundreds of mission team members, family and friends, marking a new year in the moment of close approach. The house was absolutely rocking with the debut of a special New Horizons song from Brian May, astrophysicist, New Horizons contributing scientist, and guitarist from the legendary group Queen. Now, this morning is about confirmation, because New Horizons is moving faster than 30,000 miles an hour. Even the smallest space debris could do serious damage.
Oh, yeah.
Now, did New Horizons survive its flight into the unknown? And is it ready to begin beaming back the data that will reveal Ultima as an entirely new world? Joining me is Mark Holdridge. He's the New Horizons Encounter Mission Manager from Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab. Mark, it seems like we've been here before. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Seems like yesterday.
It seems we've been here before 3 years and 3 billion miles ago when New Horizons flew by Pluto.
That's right.
Now, your job, I mean, I guess the first thing too, we casually call this the phone home moment, right? But tell us seriously, what are we waiting for? What are we watching for?
So the New Horizons spacecraft's taking a brief break from its departure, its outbound science gathering to report in and basically give us some hint of its status in terms of how well it's doing and how well the flyby went.
Okay, we talk about you're going to hear some terms and hear some things happening as we go into mission operations. Tell us what we're listening for. What are some of the things we're going to hear from Mission Operations Manager Alice Bowman and what they mean?
So the signal, after it hits the Earth, it's going to be coming compliments of the tracking station in Madrid, Spain. And they have receivers there at the station that'll be looking for the signal, trying to pull it out. And initially they'll be looking for carrier and try to lock on the carrier from the spacecraft. That's the signal coming down. And eventually lock on to the data stream, which will then be translated into the data that the subsystem engineers will be looking at in the mock.
Okay, so when we hear certain things like carrier or lock, I mean, we should be listening for, that's, I guess, the different steps of, I guess, the ground contacting and hooking up with the spacecraft.
Yeah, there's a handshaking that takes place, so to speak, between the spacecraft and the ground system.
And we'll be watching this for, we think about 10:29, 10:30 is when the earliest that can happen.
Yes, around 10:30, I think, is when we should see the acquisition of signal.
Okay, we talk about that signal. We've been saying throughout the week, as we've talked about the farthest exploration ever, 4.1 billion miles away. How long does it take that signal from that distance to reach Earth from the spacecraft?
Right. Presently, it's a little over 6 hours one way to get the signal. So everything that we're seeing at this moment actually happened about 6 hours ago.
So, I mean, if we had to track that signal, I mean, that's long gone. It's right about. I mean, we're getting close to having that here.
Yep.
You're responsible. You led the team as mission manager to make sure that New Horizons got where it needed to be, where it needed to be at the time it needed to be there. I'm going to show an image that we put out yesterday. This was one of the last images that came from New Horizons before the flyby. It basically shows a couple of pixels. You know, I mean, probably one of the bigger looks that we had of Ultima leading into the flyby.
6, 7.
You know, the scientists will look at these and they'll get information about the object itself. But your team had been using images like this. In fact, with less information to do your job. Explain how you guys did that.
About 100 days ago, we were able to start detecting the signal, start picking up Ultima Thule out of the star background using images similar to this. However, it was really one pixel, and that was hard pixel to get, actually. We had to take a number of images and co-add them and to really pull it out of the background.
Right.
And then we've been tracking its motion relative to the stars using the onboard camera on New Horizons to refine our estimate of the relative trajectories of the spacecraft and Ultima Thule.
So, I mean, you mentioned pull the background. I mean, even finding Ultima was a challenge.
Yes.
I mean, knowing to get that target beyond Pluto,
Right.
because it's just one of the busiest, the most crowded star fields in the
Yes.
sky to pull that out. And you
Yes.
had that challenge in trying to find Ultima in those first images.
Yes, I mean Pluto, of course, we were able to see almost a year in advance with the same camera.
Yeah,
But
it's
Ultima
a bit
Thule, we had to wait until
bigger.
the final 100 days or so before it was bright enough for us to be able to pick it up.
And we're looking at, when we see the image, that there's processing that has to happen here too. I mean, you're looking at like the raw image on the one side, and then you
Yes.
see the process to get something out of it.
Right.
It seems like all the teams had to do
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
The navigation team has folks that are specialized in processing these optical navigation images and then refining the orbit estimates. And so we have a very collaborative environment with 2 navigation teams and also members of the science team that supported the effort.
Okay, you were a mission operations manager. Led several other APL missions
Yes.
to go to various places across the solar system. Who's in the mission operations center? We go back and show
Yeah.
mission operations. Who's in there?
Yeah.
Who should we be watching
So
for?
you'll see Alice. She's the mission operations manager
Alice
in the
Bowman.
mission operations center, as well as her team, which are subsystem experts as well as flight controllers that are responsible for sending
mission
the commands to the
operations
spacecraft,
manager
as well
call
as,
out
looking
mom.
at data coming from the spacecraft and the ground system, and of course working any kinds of anomalies or contingency situations.
So the plan's in place. You guys made your decision. Tell me a little bit what's going on in that room right now.
I think there's a lot of anxious people
Oh,
staring,
not
staring at a
only
screen.
in that
The numbers
room.
aren't moving yet, but at some point they're going to start getting some information from the Madrid tracking station, and they're just going to be very anxiously watching that screen to look for the signal to lock up and let us know that New Horizons survived the flyby.
All right, let's say, instead of us talking, why don't we just go to mission operations now and listen in, and let's just watch and see what happens.
Sounds good.
Okay, that's Alice Bowman, the missions operation manager.
So we'll be able to show you too. We'll see signals on the screen. There's even there's a change in numbers and colors as the signal starts coming in, and that telemetry
We
starts ending up on the screen.
still
Right. Yeah, there's
don't-
like a sequence of events that take place that's very standard. This is a standard
We're still in
track. It's a
setup
very important
mode.
track, a very important contact with the spacecraft, but it's a routine process that they go through. They're very, very familiar with. So about 2 more minutes.
Oh yeah. Woo!
Right.
Oh man.
Anxiety, nerves, anything else that's happening in that room, right?
Yeah, a little of that.
What we're seeing is
That's
history
Alice,
in
the
the
operations
making.
manager, and Carl is her deputy,
We've
Carl Wittenberg.
we've never seen
So the worry,
a Kuiper belt object before. This is the first time that mankind has ever
through
tried
NASA's Deep
this.
Space Network Station in Madrid.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
When they go through the checklist for these things and to figure out what's going to happen next? They're going to establish these signals, and then what is Alice going to do?
So once they get a solid lock on the data, then those screens will start lighting up with information, and those team members will look at their areas of expertise. It might be guidance and control or communications, and they'll look at those and try to get surmise what the status of each of those subsystems is in real time, and eventually they'll be polled and report that status to the operations
Just a
manager,
moment.
and then she'll report that status to the PI, Alan.
Okay, so let's go back to watch.
Yeah, we've never, mankind has never tried this before,
So you're
so
watching the screen.
Yeah.
that
We've seen that
is,
look for many other maneuvers and other activities.
Yes.
that is right here, history in the making. DSN doesn't show any signal yet, but I'm not sure if that is
We could
completely
also point
real
out too, right,
time.
that it also, I mean, it can take time for that signal in the order when things are coming down for it
Right.
to show up.
It has to work its way through the receivers and through the networks and make it from Madrid to the operations center here at APL.
Sorry, I have to. Damn allergies. Any moment now.
With carrier,
Woo!
signal strength looks good.
We got a carrier signal. So
Standing
it's
by for
pointing the
symbols.
right way.
Telemetry, symbols lock.
Woo! We got telemetry. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Come on. The first packet should come in right now. DSN doesn't show it, but let me reload that thing. Okay, DSN now is
And lock with
behind.
telemetry.
Woo! Whoa.
And Pluto Ace
They're
is
very relaxed.
I was going to say that look.
very much.
Wow.
Subsystems, Mom on Pluto 1, please report status as you get it. All right.
Come on. Yeah, that's gonna take a few minutes.
This is the moment they're waiting for a status check from each of the subsystems from the spacecraft.
Oh yeah.
Alice is smiling. That's a good
That's
thing.
always a good sign, right? When mom is smiling, it's always a good thing.
We should get the first call outs in a few
Point out too,
seconds.
we're waiting. Those status checks come in different order. It's not necessarily a set order when each system will hear. It's really
Right.
whoever comes up first. They
Yeah,
can
it's
report.
whoever got their data first, and we're not able to hear that here. Alice will summarize that momentarily.
But we're talking about communications, guidance and control.
Yeah,
Mom
there's
RF
at least a
Pluto
half
1.
a dozen subsystems
Woo!
that are reporting in right
Go
now.
ahead, RF.
Well, the green screens will tell you, and RF is in fantastic shape.
Copy that. RF
It's
is
good.
green.
So communication works.
Looks like we did
The link.
Copy, thermal is reporting green status.
Thermal,
Thermal. So
Okay.
communications and thermal so far.
right?
That means power also worked quite well. No overheating, no cutout heaters. That's good.
Mom, planning.
Go ahead, planning.
Planning is good.
Copy, planning is nominal.
Okay. That means the sequence ran through, presumably. Come on, come on, come on.
Mom FC on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, FC?
FC is green, and DSN has provided fantastic support as always.
Copy.
All right.
Okay. Okay, yeah. DSN now doesn't work as well as expected.
Mom, GNC?
Go ahead, GNC.
Guidance and navigation.
GNC looks good.
Copy. GNC is good.
All right. So that's guidance and control.
Yep.
Mom, propulsion.
Go ahead, prop.
Propulsion is green.
Copy. Prop is green.
That's green.
Okay.
Mom, power.
Go ahead, power.
Power is green.
Copy. Power green.
Okay.
Mom, this is CDH on Pluto 1.
Go ahead, CNDH.
CNDH is nominal. Our SSR pointers are right where we predicted, so it looks like
Copy that.
Yes. We got we got the expected amount of data recorded.
Green, and we have a good data record of Ultima Thule science.
Yes.
Mom, this is autonomy.
Go
Yes.
ahead, autonomy.
Come on.
Autonomy is nominal.
Copy. Autonomy is nominal.
Whoa. So no problems so far. Wow.
Do we have navigation? Nav, Mom, on Pluto 1, do you have status yet?
New Horizons Mom, this is Nav. No status yet. We expect that probably in the next 30 minutes or so.
30 minutes? Was that is that what you said?
That's an estimate. Yes, 30 minutes for Nav.
Copy that.
Okay.
But that's about normal, right, for navigation to take
Yes.
time to make sure
MSE, SSE. Do you have status?
System engineer to Mom. Status is green.
Copy that. Green.
And that's overall spacecraft.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the SSR status is really important. That's a solid state recorder, and that tells us that we have data on the
Navigation,
spacecraft.
Mom, on Pluto 1, we are, our track is only, we only have about 10 minutes more in track, so we will get your status offline. Do you copy?
New Horizons Nav, yeah, we copy that. Thank you.
Copy that.
Okay. But I think it worked.
Any more status to report?
Go ahead.
We have a healthy spacecraft. We've just accomplished the most distant flyby. We are ready for Ultima Thule science transmission at 200 UTC today. Science to help us understand the origins of our solar system.
That's it.
Well.
Have we seen this before?
Yep.
It worked. It did work.
There it is.
Whew. It did work. Wow. History in the making. That is history in the making.
You see Ralph Semmel, the director of the Applied
Wow.
Physics Laboratory.
Wow.
He's with Alan Stern, the principal investigator of New Horizons. Other members of mission team, mission management.
This
Many others who were very important to the New Horizons mission.
This is big. This is really no, they haven't released photos yet. That was just a status check of the spacecraft. Photo transmission will take days, weeks, and months. It's just because
Each one of those systems come off. Being again a former mission operations manager, I always watch your face to see how that's going, and I see when you.
The spacecraft is so far away that it has a very low data rate. The only thing that just transmitted, it's only a short window they have to transmit today. They just transmitted a status of the spacecraft, and the spacecraft is healthy. It did record the expected amount of data on board. And it will spend the next year or 2 years transmitting it down, but we should get photos, the first 1-2 photos in the next day or two. Let's see what those guys are saying.
But over the course of the year, the science data will continue to stream in, and we'll keep getting better and better information on this really awesome object. You know, so far we've only seen 3 pixels of.
Right, and like I said, we'll see more as we go, and then we'll be getting pictures and other data over the next couple of days. The conjunction you're mentioning when New Horizons Flies Behind the Sun happens, about this weekend for a few days, and then the data starts coming back down, and over 20 months, the entire package from Ultima Thule, and goes from being revealed from this small dot into a real world, the likes of which we've never seen before. Wow, amazing thing. Congratulations to the New Horizons team, too. We're going to let that team make its way from mission operations here into the auditorium.
The data rate itself is only like a few bits per second, so just even downlinking the temperature reading on board of the spacecraft instruments and that stuff took 10 minutes. So an image is quite a bit larger, but I'm pretty sure sorry. I'm pretty sure they said in the next few hours we get our first very small thumbnail, like 6x6 pixels or something. The high resolution stuff, as the guy said, will take up to a year to fully link down, maybe longer. Always depends if how much radio receiver time they get, because they need the really big antennas. That thing mostly, it's 70 meters, 70, not 17, 70 meters across. And if you got a space probe that far out, then you really need those big antennas, and there are only 3 of them in the whole world. They might be able to link a couple of the smaller ones, but those are all also in limited supply, and you can't do only New Horizons here. You have to do tons of other deep space missions as well. So they can only receive data for a few hours per day mostly, and that at a very low bit rate. So think of this: if you transmit this image from New Horizons down, it will take a few hours. It will. It's if you think your internet speed is slow, it's 100,000 times or 1,000,000 times faster. I think they can downlink to the smaller antennas, but then you really only have like a bit per second downlink. It's basically you have much more noise to background noise, and to get the signal to noise ratio up, you slow down the transfer. Do we have any graphs? Of course not. But basically, it's the slower you transmit, the more likely you are to receive every single bit, and this thing is one-way light trip time. One-way light trip time is from the probe to Earth is over 6 hours at the speed of light. And basically the let me pull up GIMP. Maybe I can sketch it out here. It's basically you got a parabolic antenna. I'm not very good at painting. With the thing here and another mounting thing here, and you would intuitively expect that, you know, would you please come on, that you bounce the signal here and here, and it goes all parallel out, so you exactly receiving it on Earth. But the reality is, if you got the spacecraft here, and very, very far away you got the Earth here, the signal basically also reaches the Earth, but most of it is missing, even with the best antenna you can have, and you're only transmitting with a few watts, so you get a few milliwatts in here, and then you have to filter out all the other noise you got coming in from the rest of the universe, basically. It's not the worst reception you can have, because probes like the Solar Probe Plus and Solar Explorer and what have you, that go near the sun, have a much bigger problem, because you got the Earth here, you got the sun here. It's not to scale, obviously, because I don't have a paint program that goes out millions of pixels, and you got a probe here, and that is sending to Earth, but the biggest radio transmitter in our solar system is the sun, so that's also sending tons of junk on all frequencies here and here and here and here and here. So you can't actually listen to the probe while it's directly in front of the sun. So what you have to do is, damn it, what you have to do is you get the sun and the course of the probe, basically something like that, and you got the Earth, and you have to wait for the probe to be not in front of the sun, so you can focus your reception antenna, which also isn't perfect, here without aiming it at the sun. So damn it, I was meant to show this, sorry. You didn't see all my graphics, but basically, yeah, let's try this again. Okay, sorry, I messed up again by pressing the wrong button. But basically, yeah, if you got the probe and the Earth is sending out a signal that goes way beyond that, and only you're sending a few watts, like 20 or 30 or something, and only a small fraction of that actually gets to Earth, and the antenna is also listening to a much wider cone. The bigger the antenna, the smaller the cone, but basically from that thing that gets to Earth you get a bit of the transmission, but you also get all that that cosmic background radiation that also gets here, and you have to filter it out. So oh yeah, but that's probably it for the live stream. Horizons live not sure when they have the press conference, but yeah, sorry about not really showing the graphics, but I'm completely messed that up, sorry. And now but yeah, basically you and what I said about the sun, solar probes, when they're in front of the sun is the biggest radio transmitter in our solar system, so you have to wait for the probe to pass so you can aim not at the sun when you receive stuff. That's basically it. Okay, I will see you next time. I might stream some Subnautica later, but I'm not sure yet. But for now, thank you for watching.